It's March 15th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today. In this show, we're just going to take a second and celebrate what was a great day yesterday because we got to celebrate the great days because there's some tough days ahead of us as well, which we'll get through together. So celebrate those great days. We're going to take a closer look at the mNAV right now, what that means. We're going to talk about global cross asset risk, and that's some pretty interesting details there. We're also going to talk about the word conviction. And I have a couple great videos, actually 3 great video clips. One from Fong Lee, who's the CEO of Strategy. You're going to really want to listen to this one in full, but I've got a great clip of it. 2 Michael Saylor clips, and it's a great episode. This video is not financial advice. I will say I would love your comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. Just comment for support. Let me know what you're thinking, and let's dive in. All right, as promised, today's first post is actually going to be just a little shot at the MicroStrategy Friday report. And listen, I know you guys have seen it. I know you know the numbers, but let's just take a deep breath and just enjoy some green, enjoy a 13% gain. I mean, I love this stuff. Let's see what IBIT did just for comparison. Because again, if you're going to compare MSTR to Bitcoin, you are comparing it to IBIT, which opened and closed at the same time. So it was up 5.76%, which was a great day for IBIT for sure, but MSTR more than doubled it. In fact, almost tripled it, almost 3x'd what IBIT did. So very good day for MSTR, and hopefully more are ahead. Time will tell, but just a little celebration here. I wanted to share this because I just love this from the Bitcoin Therapist. It's actually specifically reposting a Josh Mann quote because Bitcoin Therapist says, "This is my quant." Josh says, "You do not plant a seed in the ground and then dig it up every day to see that it is growing. Bitcoin will grow." This is just something that I'm going to really start coming back to over and over again. It's like, we don't need to just kind of like keep scratching at that Bitcoin itch. We don't need to keep digging up this Bitcoin seed to see if it's growing into the beautiful flower or sequoia tree that we know it's growing into. Just let it grow. It's going to have ups and downs and pullbacks and bursts forward. And again, 10 days a year, that is the average number of days per year that Bitcoin makes its major moves. So you need to be in the market for those 10 days. You can't miss one of those 10 days. Time in the markets, not timing the markets. MicroStrategy says MSTR's mNAV is bouncing off its exponential range lows. Could this be the start of big things? And this is just a graph since 21 January 2022. Or 2022 of the mNAV. As you can see, it's kind of going down, up, tapping on 1.5, hitting back down during the bear market, getting back up, going way above into the 2.5 range, way above. It actually almost got to 4 at one point. We all remember that day if we were invested. I think that the price was $453. Sorry, $543 at this moment in time. As you can see, for just a moment in time, because then it did crash all the way back down. And then it went down to the lows. And then here we are now bouncing back. And we're getting kind of close to that 2.0 line, but we bounced off the low first percentile line here. So MicroStrategist thinks big things are to come. I do as well, but patience is a virtue. Adam says global cross-asset risk just hit its highest level since 2022. Volatility regimes are shifting. Fiat capital is entering a fragility spiral. In chaos, capital seeks time-resilient assets. This will mark another giant capital flow cycle into Bitcoin. And then this is global cross-asset risk pricing. It's the highest since 2022. As you can see, it was peaking up in this area, late 2022. Really crashed down, and then now it is on a spike. So what will this mean? Only time will tell. It's just another chart. BIT Strategy says, if you have true conviction, again, this word conviction, if you have true conviction in Bitcoin, it changes all of your financial planning calculations. Suddenly, you don't need nearly as much wealth today, given your certainty of extraordinary rates of return tomorrow. If one Bitcoin is worth tens of millions of dollars in today's terms, in a few years, then we don't actually need that many. This is important for a strategy investor because it alters how much risk you can take on today. If you're confident that just when one Bitcoin will be sufficient to finance your lifestyle far into the future, then it frees you up to invest the remainder of your stack, not financial advice. MBIT strategy ends with the XYZ of modern portfolio management. You need X amount of fiat to give you a 4-year safety net. You need Y amount of Bitcoin to give you a 40-year safety net. That leaves you with Z to invest in strategy shares, because this is the blow off top, not financial advice. Now I have 3 video clips, 2 of Michael Saylor, which are pretty epic, but then 1 of Phong Lee, which I'm guessing a lot of you haven't had much interaction with, or you haven't consumed a lot of his content. He is the CEO of Strategy. And so you have a lot of bears out there. They say, what if Michael Saylor gets hit by a bus? It's over. Well, listen, it would be devastating for a lot of people, including myself, if Michael Saylor gets hit by a bus and is no longer with the living. That would be devastating. However, the strategy team is incredible. The strategy team is aligned. The strategy team is strong. Phong Lee, man, this guy is so good. I highly recommend you watching this entire interview that Tim Kosman had with him on the Bitcoin Treasuries podcast. Phong Lee, take it away, brother. But first, we're going to thank our sponsor. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show.
The other thing I hear all the time, I meet corporate treasurers all around and I talk to them about Bitcoin. And by the time I'm done orange pilling them, they're like, yes, I'm going to buy Bitcoin for myself. And I'm like, are you going to put Bitcoin on your balance sheet? They're like, no, I'm not going to put Bitcoin on my balance sheet. I'm like, why? And they're like, my job is to do no harm. And I'm like, wow, that's sort of a sort of crappy job. Your job isn't to create value for your shareholders. Your job is to do no harm, right? That's how you chose this path to become a corporate treasurer. Our corporate treasurer's job is not to do no harm. It's to maximize shareholder value and maximize the balance sheet. And I think, going back to understanding Bitcoin and the problem it solves and the technology associated with it, understanding what's happened over the last 17 years with Bitcoin now becoming adopted by the most powerful nation state in the world, right? Why wouldn't you as a corporation also consider Bitcoin for your balance sheet? And, the easy compromise would be for companies to say, let's go with 5-10%. Again, if you found something that gave you a 60% return, are you going to allocate 5-10% of your capital to it? You're going to allocate all of your capital to it. That's going to be the next question, right? And then the next question is, and Vivek Ramaswamy stated this pretty well yesterday, actually. Then do you reset the bar as the hurdle rate, the internal rate of return, what you expect to be higher than to make an investment? Will it be 11%? Will it be 15% for the S&P 500? Or will it be Bitcoin at 40, 50, 60%? And if you do the latter, every investment you're about to make as a company has to exceed 60%. People ask me all the time, hey, are you going to buy another software company? You buy an AI company. Right? We get these offers all the time. And for a lot of the reasons, operational integration is extremely challenging in a software company. But more so, I ask the question back, what do you think that AI company is going to give me? If you think it can give me a greater than 60% rate of return? I'd say, yeah, let's talk about it. And of course, at that point in time, they all just quiet down, don't say anything.
Welcome back. Bitcoin back above, well, briefly above 85,000 today. And now a new first of its kind ETF is giving investors access to convertible corporate bonds issued by companies holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It's the REX Bitcoin Corporate Treasury Convertible Bond ETF, ticker BMAX. Top holdings include bonds from companies like Strategy, Mara Holdings, and Riot Platforms. And it was developed in partnership with Strategy's Executive Chair Michael Saylor, who joins us now, along with Greg King, who is the CEO of REX Financial. Welcome to both of you. Okay, so corporate convertible debt bond ETFs exist. But this is the first one, Michael, that is for specifically companies holding Bitcoin. Is that right? Why do investors need this?
Well, but we were the largest issuer of convertible bonds last year. We're the largest issuer of convertible bonds this year. Our convertible bonds are the best performing converts, probably the best performing bonds issued in the past 5 to 10 years. And it turns out that Strategy's convertible bonds have outperformed Bitcoin over this time period since issuance. And so you get Bitcoin performance, but you get the downside protection of a bond. I think this is really critical. And this ETF is really important because retail investors could never buy these bonds, and institutional investors have a difficult time buying the bonds. So BMAX is it's plugging an important gap in the entire crypto economy because it's providing easy institutional access and retail access to all of these crypto or Bitcoin-backed convertible bonds. I think it'll be good for the investors, it'll be good for the issuers, and it'll be good for Bitcoin in general.
Could you, Michael, give us, so even for me, I've thought as I've kind of followed this all along with the convertible debt and so forth, for a while the shares were doing quite well. Obviously, lately they've been more under pressure. What is an example of how an investor could make money on this kind of strategy, holding the convertible debt, versus holding Bitcoin or versus holding your shares or holding your shares through a leveraged position? I don't know if you can give us some illustrative math.
When you're holding the convertible bond, you're getting like a 70 delta instrument sometimes. So you're getting like 70% of the upside of the equity, but you've got the downside protection. And that means you might be getting all of the upside of BTC because Strategy is geared to kind of be 1.5x Bitcoin. So if you want a 1.5x roller coaster, 1.5 volatility, 100 vol, and you want to shoot for what's been 90 to 100% ARR, you take the MSTR equity. If you want straight BTC, you buy BTC or you buy a spot Bitcoin ETF, and it's like 60 vol, 60 ARR. But if you like the idea of kind of getting the upside but having downside protection, you need a company with Bitcoin on its balance sheet to sell you a convertible bond that gives you that upside warrant, but then gives you the credit protection. And that's what this convertible bond fund is all about. Well, as I said before, our converts are actually outperforming Bitcoin with downside protection. And because it's impossible for most retail investors and a lot of institutions to buy this, the market's inefficient. And so we expect the convertible bond market to grow dramatically because of this ETF. And it should be good for the bond investors because their bonds are undervalued. They'll be fully valued. It should be good for the convertible bond market. It should make it possible for other Bitcoin treasury companies to issue more convertible bonds. And of course, as you know, the more capital we raise via this mechanism, the more Bitcoin we buy,
right,
and more intelligent leverage we get. So it's good for our equity, it's good for Bitcoin, and it's good for investors. So I think it's a win-win-win.
It's certainly a lot of financial innovation with crypto now firmly ensconced in the financial universe. Gentlemen, thanks. Appreciate you joining us to explain today. Michael Saylor and Greg King.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR today. And as we look at my receipt from yesterday, I bought a 0.744 share of MSTR. The cost was $284. It cost me $211 to do that, and ended up being a pretty good buy so far for that day. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm going to keep stacking. I will update you tomorrow on the end of tomorrow's video, Sunday, on my full DCA portfolio. It's going to look a lot prettier than it was looking on Thursday. So we will see where we are at on that. Now, please do remember this. you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So thank you for spending 10, 15 minutes with me today. I hope you surround yourself with other amazing people. Remember what I truly believe and what I am putting out there into the universe, that the path that we are on, it's inevitable. And as Michael Saylor loves to say, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.